Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and we're going to be doing an updated video on Quinn Ewers and his throwing mechanics from Texas last year. And I really think it's always important to be able to look at what quarterbacks are able to do from a throwing perspective. There's so many great things that are going to be happening within Texas, I feel like, coming into this next season. A lot of that's going to be because of Quinn Ewers. He does just a phenomenal job when you watch his highlight tape, being able to add this RPO option. Makes it so there ends up being a lot of stress on the defense when you have something like this, two running backs in the backfield or somebody coming in motion before the play. So now you have to be able to account for both getting stretched here, and also having a pass here. Really tough to be able to account for everything there, right? So obviously when this is happening, he's reading it and he probably sees that this is not going to work. So he's going to go and now has a read on the defensive end here, or the linebacker here would be the different options that you're going to end up looking at. And based off of that, makes a decision on being able to throw the slant. He loads back, he gets real quick with the elbow coming through, and he just has a great job of getting so much external rotation as he is loading, and therefore is able to get the ball out of his hands with a lot of power and really not having to go through a ton of extra range within the shoulder. So, what we commonly see with quarterbacks is they'll end up having to spend a lot more time with their hands going back to load with the ball and the hand going back because of the lack of range of motion with the shoulder. But for him, he's very quick to get the elbow through, which makes it so now he can get the ball out of his hands fairly quickly. Let's see here. We can see the ball comes out of his hand probably here. Right, just get a quick look at his release time. Probably somewhere, yeah, right after there. So that's 5.1, right? 0.31. We just see so many guys now too that have that really, really quick release time. And it's so important, again, to be able to really put yourself in a position as a quarterback to be able to do a lot when it comes to being able to stretch the defense. Now, one of the things that I think ends up being something that he could probably improve on would be just getting more in the lower body, creating more rotation within the lower body. We can see here as he's going, he's a little late in rotation of the lower body. He's also early in the weight shift coming forward. So that makes it so that, he's able to obviously make up for it with having a lot of extra rotation. There's a lot that is familiar with like a Patrick Mahomes type of release, delivery, arm strength, but even with Mahomes. So he gets to do a similar position with his back leg, but he takes a little bit longer step and also is very rotational with the hip. So in this position, he would be getting, I'm talking about Mahomes, would be able to get a lot more rotation there, where Ewers is a little bit late with being able to create the rotation. But again, he has so much speed within the elbow and so much speed within the forearm here, and that's some of the things that I've been talking about too with people, these guys that have sent in the breakdowns, is like, because there's a lot that's been showing about with sprinting, that lower shin and how important that is when it comes to force production. I think that's a very similar thing when it comes to throwing the football, is your forearm and how fast you're able to get that forearm going. I think really has a big difference in being able to throw the ball. Now we can see from here, he's at this point with his forearm, right? Look at how far back he is. The next frame, look at, that's 2/100ths of a second. Look at how far that forearm traveled in 2/100ths of a second. It's a lot of force. It's a lot of movement that's happening. And then from there, he just continues through. He gets that elbow through because the arm all the way through and releases the ball. He does do a great job of continuing to shift his weight forward. Even though he's quick to get his weight onto his front leg, even as he's releasing the ball, he does a great job of being able to get all of his weight forward, which is such a huge strength when it comes to being able to throw the football well and put a lot of force on the ball. Now, here we can see again and put a little bit more power behind it, a little more rotation on this one, but look at that external rotation there, right? This is what we're talking about in the shoulder and really being able to maximize that. I think that's really important for you to be able to understand in order to be able to continually have success when it comes to throwing the football, is being able to get good external rotation because of what that does when it comes to being able to utilize your pec and your elbow and when you're coming through. So you can see with him, he has such an ability to be able to use so much power with his arm because his elbow is coming so far through. So this is putting such a huge stretch on his lat as he's releasing the ball. He could probably come a little bit more downwards on the football there. That'd probably help with him being able to get a little more consistent left to right with his throws. But, you know, these are all just very, very small things in the grand scheme of like what ends up being the key things that we're looking for as a quarterback, right? Like the key things we're looking for is being able to have good movement through that lower body, good ability to shift on the front leg, great external rotation, great wrist position as the ball's coming out of your hand. All those things end up being the main things that we're looking at. And so when we see little issues like this, like, yeah, we can make small adjustments, small improvements, but really we want to be able to understand the big things that are going to help us when it comes to adding more velocity on the throw, adding more distance on the throw, and a big part of that is the ability to create great external rotation within the shoulder. So as always, guys, if you like the information, go ahead and click that thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. Also, check out the description. We have a ton of things for quarterbacks that are looking to develop, looking to improve their throwing mechanics. I know it's pretty late here. A lot of you guys, if you are currently looking to really make a lot of improvements within your mechanics, should have tried to do this earlier on. But I will say that there's some of you guys that I know have been going through different seasons, baseball, track, things like that, haven't been able to focus on this. Now is a great time to be able to get started. We do have a lot of great options for quarterbacks that are looking to improve their mechanics and be able to do it in a very quick and efficient way. You can check all that out in the description down below. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.